Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from NPR from April 22nd. It's from the morning edition. Small business rescue earned banks $10 billion in fees. You know, you would think where they are literally just middlemen, they would get, a set fee for processing the paperwork. No, they got basically what amounts to a percentage on top of like what it was. So if they $1 million loan, they got like say 5%. So they're getting $50,000, which to me to file some paperwork is a little friggin' ridiculous. Yeah, so they earned $10 billion off of money that was intended to go to small businesses. So let's get into this here. Banks handling the government's $349 billion loan program for small businesses made more than $10 billion in fees, even as tens of thousands of small businesses were shut out of the program, according to an analysis of financial records by NPR. Now, this is what's going on with this. They actually, those big companies that they kind of like got exposed for taking the money when they didn't need it. These were the customers that the banks here rushed through for these large loans that wiped it out so that they could make even larger commissions, which is even shadier. So not only did they make $10 billion, they shafted the small businessman so that they could make more off the commissions. It's pretty scummy. The banks took in fees while processing loans that required less vetting than regular bank loans and had little risk for the banks, the records show. Taxpayers provided the money for the loans, which were guaranteed by the Small Business Administration. So yeah, they're not even taking a risk. All they're doing is just dealing with some paperwork. And yeah, they're making these huge commissions off of this, which is wrong. Us, the taxpayer, we're the ones that are like securing these loans, well, providing, the money for these loans, in essence, securing them, because we're the ones that are, staking them, I should say. But, hey, whatever. They feel entitled. This is like the idea of too big to fail and them getting their bonuses and shit like that. It's that same exact sleazy mentality. It's really vile, too, that they would think that this is acceptable and that, they're going to come out smelling like a rose doing something like this when they're neck deep in the shit with it. It's so ridiculous. According to a Department of Treasury fact sheet, all federally insured banks and credit unions could process the loans, which ranged in amount from tens of thousands to 10 million. The bank acted essentially as middlemen, sending clients' loan applications to the SBA, which approved them. Yeah, so they're not approving them. They're not doing anything. All they have is their loan officer basically taking the information that's, necessary to get the loan, helping, with the paperwork being filled out, making sure that it's filled out correctly, and they're sending it on from there. Their hands are off at that point. But yet, they got to get their cut, which the money that they're making would be like if they were issuing the loan themselves. Because banks, not only are they going to make the money off the interest, they charge these, fees and stuff like that, like for different, for the loans. So, they above and beyond the interest, they're going to charge fees because they make the extra money that way. They charge these fees on federal friggin' loans. It's ridiculous. For every transaction made, banks took in 1% to 5% in fees, depending on the amount of the loan, according to government figures. Loans worth less than $350,000 brought in 5% in fees, while loans worth anywhere from $2 million to $10 million brought in 1% in fees, which you're going to end up making more money. So you get 1% off of a $2 million loan. That's going to be more than 5% off of a $350,000 loan. I mean, who do you think they're going to run through? first? The big company that's going to exploit this and try to get a $10 million loan or a $2 million loan, or the small mom and pop business that's looking for $350,000 just so that they can make sure that they're going to make payroll and keep their employees, off of unemployment? Of course, they're going to go for the big company that booted their employees and sent them to unemployment. You know that because they're making more money. For example, on April 7, RCSH Operations LLC, the parent company of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, received a loan of $10 million. J.P. Morgan Chase & Company acted as the lender, took a $100,000 fee on the one-time transaction for which it assumed no risk and could pass through with fewer requirements than a regular loan. So they made a quick $100K off of a $10 million loan. That's some serious shit. So of course they're going to go, that's not chump change. Of course they're going to go for that. And the whole intent of this wasn't for companies like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse to get a $10 million loan. It was meant for the smaller businesses. That was the intent of this. In total, those transaction fees amounted to more than $10 billion for banks, according to transaction data provided by the SBA and Treasury Department. And you would think that the SBA and the Treasury Department would have said, you know what? No. You're not going to charge these ridiculous fees. You're basically dotting the T, you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So, yeah, we're going to pay you a flat fee. Like a flat paper processing fee. That's how it should be. They should have looked at what was the actual reasonable time, what work was put into to make the paper happen, because these are their customers. They're going to want to keep their customers happy by helping them get these loans. So, that fact, would probably work to their favor because they can go, look, we're not taking these ridiculous fees and we're helping you. Maybe you want to keep your business with us, or maybe you want to start doing your business with us. No, they would rather pull it the same type of mentality-driven shit that led to this idea of too big to fail and they got to be bailed out. The whole greed thing. There's greed and then there's greed, and this is that greed thing going on here. NPR reached out to several of the largest banks involved in collecting the fees, including J.P. Morgan, PNC Bank, and Bank of America. Many did not respond to specific questions, but said they were working to help as many small business clients as they could. Well, of course they're not going to specifically respond to questions. They're going to avoid this because they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. They're like, oh shit, this could actually blow up in our faces. But, this is Marie Antoinette levels of cognitive dissonance. They seriously thought that this would be an okay, acceptable thing for them to do, is take these huge, fee, these huge, charge these huge fees and pocket money hand over fist with it. And now they're getting a bit of a rude awakening, and they still think they're going to get away with it. This is what's funny. Even though they're getting questioned on it, they're not going to specifically answer those questions that are being posed, and they think it's going to go away. This should not go away. There should be congressional inquiries into this. If not, hearings. There should be these guys out in front of congressmen and senators going, So why did you take $100,000 on a $10 million loan? What did you actually do to provide a service for that? Well, we filled out the paperwork and that was worth $100,000. Well, not only did we fill it out, we photocopied it too. So that's still worth $100,000. Well, This is what needs to go on with this. In a statement, Bank of America said the bank had more than 8,000 employees working for clients and preparing to get them in on the next round of the program should it be passed by Congress. The program has significant vetting requirements, the bank said in an email, including collecting, personally examining, and storing data that is required for each application. So what? You've got someone typing in a few things. You've got digital storage, which is cheap. That's worth these commissions? 8,000 employees. Okay, so you got 8,000 employees. You're going to get 1 to 5% each employee, assuming that they're all loan officers. Huh. You're going to stand to make some decent chunk of change there, Bank of America. They're trying to make it sound like that they actually do something besides take the information in and transmit it to the SBA. Oh yeah, where were we? This is like Office Space. Oh God, what the hell is the guy's name? The one who like has the breakdown where he's like, I take the stuff from them to the engineers. This is what they're doing here. They're in front of the Bobs trying to justify their existence in this situation. Oh, it's beautiful. It doesn't work, but it is beautiful. Oh, God. Still, Treasury Department guidelines make clear the requirements are less rigorous for banks compared to processing regular customer loans, where banks must verify clients' asset claims. Yeah, see, they're not even having to verify that, like, say, okay, we have this much in assets, this much in cash flow, this, that, and the other thing with these loans. Because the idea is we need to get this money out in the economy, so we're going to play a little bit fast and loose with that. So, yeah, they're not even having to vet this stuff. Anyway, lenders are permitted to rely on borrower certifications and representations, the department told lenders. Yeah, so basically if I say, go in and say I got a business that needs this much cash flow, I got this many employees, and they take me at face value, or at least they can or supposed to. And they're trying to make it sound like they actually do something with this. To be sure, banks do collect fees when processing any SBA loan, but rarely, if ever, have banks processed this volume of loans this quickly, with fees ranging past $10 billion in a 2-week period. The SBA did not respond to detailed questions about the program. But see, this is the thing. All right. Fees are one thing, but this is an emergency situation. They shouldn't be able to have a windfall like this. There should be a cap on what their fees are. This is ridiculous because this whole fee thing caused the banks to get greedy. It led to them taking those companies that shouldn't have been getting the loans and putting them in for these loans so that they could make $100,000 off of a $10 million loan. Yes, they should, be paid for their service. But especially in this case, it might be a little bit different with other SBA loans. But in this case, they're basically middlemen. It's not like they're the ones issuing the loan and the SBA's securing it or anything like that. It's the SBA that's physically dealing with the loan. They shouldn't be able to profiteer in this type of situation because it gives them the right to pick and choose which customers they're going to deal with first, which led to the fact of the mom and pop small business getting told to go fuck themselves on this first round, which has led to the second round. So you have these small businesses which predominantly employ the largest, amount of people in this country. Small business provides jobs for more Americans than the large corporations combined, and you're going to screw them over. The people who, the individuals, the small business owners who actually employ the most people, because the banks make more money. This is what the problem is with this this fee shit. And what it should have been was a FIFO type thing. If you really want to look at it, all right, and do it fairly. Or these big businesses that can claim they need a $10 million loan, that are these huge corporations that are now going, oh, I'm going to give the money back, or we're going to give the money back. When you have those corporations in it, that shouldn't have happened. That would have, if they had barred companies like those from coming into this situation, it wouldn't have gave an incentive for these banks to screw over the small businesses and put those large companies first. I mean, this is ridiculous. Congress is now poised to add $320 billion more into the program, called the Paycheck Protection Program, as it looks to pass a $84 billion additional stimulus package this week. President Trump said on Twitter that he supports the bill. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican from Kentucky, said on the Senate floor that the program was saving millions of small business jobs and helping Americans get paychecks instead of pink slips. Yeah, and you get the banks going, you know what? Screw those small businesses, screw their employees. We can make $100,000 off of that big company right there that doesn't even need the loan. All right, we can go and set ourselves up $100,000 real fast by filling out paperwork for them. Hey, have one of our loan officers reach out to them and let them know that they can get that money. Tell them we'll help them get it. That way we can make a quick $100K. And I'm sure that's what happened with more than one of these businesses. You actually, because they have personal loan officers for these companies that, with their lending institutions that deal with them exclusively. It's not like you call up and you get a different loan officer. You have a person's name and you go to them, and they deal with your shit. And I wouldn't be surprised if more than a few of them called these larger businesses and said, look, we can get you some of that money. What do you want for a 0-interest loan? Want me to put you in for $10 million? And that's how that probably happened with a lot of these larger businesses, because they're like going, got to make the commissions. That's the type of mentality. It's like that 80s stockbroker, got to make the commissions type shit. And the small businessman and the average American got fucked in the process. Even so, Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat from Michigan, called on the Government Accountability Office to look into the program after tens of thousands of small businesses were left out and larger companies got millions. And I'm actually going to agree with Peters on this one. I mean, there should be an investigation into this. Like I said, there should be like Senate hearings and investigations into this, and House hearings and investigations. Because that's clearly really shady shit going on. One law firm, the Stalwart Law Group, filed 5 class action lawsuits this week, 4 in California and 1 in New York, alleging that banks processed clients with larger loans first because they stood to generate more money in fees. By the time the banks tried to process loans from their smaller clients, the lawsuit alleges, the program had run dry. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's common sense. All these big companies get their loans and all the small little guys get fucked over, and the banks make $10 billion in fees, or over $10 billion. That's like shady shit going on. That's like should be investigated shady shit going on. Like there could be like some like possible criminal stuff going on here. It's ridiculous that that would happen. It's like, oh, nothing to see here. Don't look at the fact that we made over $10 billion. We were doing our jobs. We earned that money. All you were was paper pushers, filing paperwork, getting it from one person and sending it off to the SBA. You don't deserve that kind of money for that kind of work. Screw you. It's ridiculous. Rather than processing Paycheck Protection Program applications on a first-come, first-served basis, as required by the rules governing that program, the lawsuit says,
The banks prioritized loan applications seeking higher loan amounts because processing those applications first generated larger loan origination fees for the bank. Larger loan origination fees for the banks. Banks dispute these allegations. JP Morgan said it handled the applications fairly. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. This is like with this too big to fail shit, and they're like, we didn't do nothing. We were innocent. And like almost every one of the motherfuckers in on Wall Street that were with their hand in the cookie jar and doing shady shit, you know, almost every one of those motherfuckers should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and sent to, you know, prison. And I would, you know, I'm not saying they should have been sent to Club Fed. I'm saying they should have been sent to fuck you up the ass prison for the shit that they pulled in that led to the 2008 financial crisis that they got bailed out for. They knowingly acted, you know, on the idea of white collar, you know, criminal and got away with it because, you know, white collar criminal, when you're a banker, that's day-to-day operations, it seems. But yeah, this is like that same levels of type of like ignorance and arrogance and cognitive dissonance that they just sit there and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna make the money. You know that they did this. You know that they were playing shady because all the big businesses got theirs. Somehow they're the very first ones. When you know that there are some mom and pop businesses with people that are so driven and so vested and determined that first thing, like the second they could submit their information, they were there to do it. So you know that they would be one of the people on the top of the pile. And a lot of those people that are like that got told, sorry, fuck you. Well, you got these companies getting $10 million loans. It stinks to high heaven. I mean, just this is ridiculous. That JP Morgan says they handled their applications fairly. Maybe they did. But you know the other banks didn't. And I'm not thinking JP Morgan was one of them that was, if they were. We funded more than twice as many loans for smaller businesses than the rest of the firm's clients combined. The bank said in a statement to clients. Okay, well that doesn't go against if you were playing, you know, that doesn't back up playing fairly, but whatever. Each business works separately on loans for its customers. Business banking, Chase's Bank, for our smaller business customers, process loan applications generally sequentially. Choice of words there. Generally sequentially. It's supposed to be sequentially. It's supposed to be FIFO, first in, first out. But, it generally did it. Well, you either did it or you didn't do it. Not generally. Understanding that a given loan may take more or less time to process. Yes, but it's first come, first serve, or at least that's how it was supposed to be. That processing thing doesn't mean shit. Did you put it in? Did you put them in the order they were supposed to come in? And this is another thing that's shady about this. See, they have business banking, Chase's Bank for our smaller business customers. Then they have their Chase directly for their large customers, which separates them out. So now you technically have two different banks going for these loans. So you have the big Chase, which now only deals with the big customers, which would be the ones that say got the $10 million loans, you know, those type of companies, who have a much smaller queue for them because there's only those big boys over at the main Chase Bank. And you have every little mom and pop that's their smaller customers going with their business banking. So you have a huge ass frigging line there. Now tell me that doesn't kind of rig things in the favor of those big businesses. You get the big businesses who get the special treatment, who have the smaller, you know, queue because they're being treated by the other, you know, the hoity-toity Chase. And then you have the peon piece of shit little small business banking section of Chase where all the mom and pop shops and brick and mortars have to sit waiting in line like it's the fucking DMV for this shit. That doesn't sound too fair to me. If they're both Chase Bank, then those large ones should have been put into the queue with the rest of them. And it should have been a true first come, first serve. Not this, not for thee, but for me bullshit. I mean, this is ridiculous. Our intent was to serve as many clients as possible, not prioritize any client over others. Ha ha ha! Excuse me. How is that not prioritizing clients when your clients that are, like those $10 million, $2 million types are being treated by the main Chase, and you got the other ones going to, like I just said, the peon friggin' business banking, mom and pop brick and mortar, all for you, all you fuckers. That's your DMV line over there. That sounds like fucking prioritizing to me. Oh, this is some ridiculous shit. Oh, I'm for capitalism. I'm for, free trade, but this is like government attached money. I'm for making the best business deal, whatever else, but this is like government money. This has strings attached to it. That doesn't mean that you can go and play shady here and have basically two separate divisions of the same company on paper. Basically the same fucking company. One deals with your preferential clientele and the other one deals with the masses. And then go, well, we weren't rigging things because there was a much smaller line for them to get in. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm going to leave things here.
If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.